How's it going, everybody? How's it going, Jarrell? So we're gonna continue with this playthrough of Danganronpa. Right now we're about to do a class trial for the body that we found in the garden. Oh no. That's not good. Oh, there it is, okay. There we go. Okay. Is everything good, Jarrell? Make sure everything's okay. Okay. We're good. Good, let's go. Whoa, Byakuya and Makoto showed up together.
Ah.
We were together. Where in the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without a word. We were investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out by this point? Makoto's ranked high enough for you guys to go off together? Just the two of you?
Huh?
What, are you jealous?
Hey!
Or are you making some kind of creepy fantasy of yourself for yourself?
What?
Stop talking and brace yourself. He'll be here any second. Any second. He could show up at any time. When I imagined what was about to happen, I immediately tensed up and prepared myself. But we stood there for 5 full minutes, waiting for something weird to happen. And then 5 minutes became 10.
Why?
What's going on here? Why hasn't Monokuma shown up yet?
Could it be?
Maybe he died again. What should we do? Should we keep waiting here, or what?
What?
Jesus. Did it scare you?
Come on.
I demand an explanation. Why did you waste my time and make me wait like that? What, I made you wait? You got it backwards. You're the ones making me wait. Huh?
In other words,
I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start until everyone's here. Now, can we? What are you talking about? Everyone is here. We've all been waiting for you. Sorry, but you're wrong. But I've been waiting 10 minutes now. So it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If we all agree it's a violation, I'll arrange a punishment right now. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When we heard that voice, we all spun around to look.
hey,
I'm here, and no rule's been broken. Kyoko. Kyoko, you're still alive? No, that's a ghost. Stop talking. If you want to fight, do it in class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right?
What?
But is it okay that there's no particular penalty for being late?
is that right?
You made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right, there's no penalty, officially. But I bet you'll be sorry later.
Shing!
No, I'll make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts into the elevator. I'll be just one step ahead of you. When Monokuma was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. Kyoko.
Ah!
So you really didn't die?
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. Thank God, I'm so glad you're okay. So, well, yeah, the body's freaking, what's your name? Ikusawa? I'm glad you're okay. Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh. He's right now if we gotta deal with the ghost. Told you stop talking.
Let's go.
Come on, let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we need to do it during the trial. We can. Without ever looking directly at Kyoko, Byako has stepped into the elevator. Master, wait for me. Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long.
But...
I'll be happy when this trial is all over. When after another one, everyone piled into the elevator. But I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Yoko before the trial started. Let's just go in. Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you. Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you? So,
Correct.
I went to investigate the second floor of the dorms. Second floor?
That's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that.
Whew.
I had no idea a body's been discovered. Then, when did you find out?
So...
Just now. I finished my search and came back down, just in time to hear class trial announcement. I took some time to go over the crime scene first. I can't go into the trial completely uninformed. What happened? Why? Uninformed, can I? Sorry, my TV went out for some reason. So that's why you're late?
However...
Sorry, I kept you all waiting. But if you were on the second floor of the dorms, then that's what the key you found goes to?
Wrong.
Actually, to be precise, not quite.
In other words...
I use Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the door in the school. What? Kyoko's account has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Sweet.
Just a second!
Hey, what are you two doing? Hurry up before we get in trouble with Monokuma.
Makoto.
We can go all over the details after we get through the trial. Okay, Makoto? Right now, I just want to focus on surviving our current situation. I don't know. Don't know.
It would seem...
Because this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her? That's a strange way to put it. Class trial is important for everyone, right? So why would she say it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator. I'm just overthinking what she said, right? Being the last one left, I stepped onto the elevator. Into the elevator. And the door slid shut. This time the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears, and the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, silent and still. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. It was the blinding light of despair. Thanks.
I can't wait! I can't wait!
Ooh. I've been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs to pass.
Thrills! Chills!
Let's get
Kills!
with the show. And so the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly fate, deadly clash trial. Yeah. So, I have no idea. I'm probably gonna fail this one a lot. Can already tell. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim has been stabbed a single time with the knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds. These were at least several days old. The explosion had burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body remained on fire, and we had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper half was soaking wet, while the bottom half remained dry. The body was wearing notably long fake nails. The body had a tattoo of a dog on the back of the right hand. There were bits of charred debris near the body. It should be noted that the bomb which had been removed from Monokuma in the gym had disappeared. It's hard to imagine these two events are unrelated. The sprinklers are programmed to come on every morning at 7:30, and this time is impossible to change. As such, it can be assumed if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, it would have gotten wet. 7 a.m. Makoto wakes in the morning announcement. Okay, Makoto no. Boy arrived at the dining hall. 7:39, Makoto meets the others in the gym, and together they head to the headmaster's room. Toko is told to find the pickaxe in the garden where she discovered the body. The knife found near the body is the same knife that was used to stab before the explosion. It's also the same knife that Toko had given Makoto for safekeeping, and the knife the mask assailant was holding when they attacked Makoto. The top was hidden among the other items in the tool shed. One side was wet and filthy with mud and grime. The other side was completely clean and dry. The number of chickens in the chicken coop had decreased from 5 to 4. Yasuhiro claims that there were, without a doubt, 5 chickens just before nighttime last night, and yet... Okay. Becca stated that there was no corpse in the garden just after nighttime last night, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that. Becca also said that he, Yasuhiro, Toko, and I'm not gonna be able. Tina were in the gym the entire night. None of them were alone at any point. The corpse had a mask covering its head and a white jacket covering the body. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen, and there were bloodstains around the wound. The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet. It was noted, however, that there was no blood on the ground around the body. Makuru Kusaba, female, known as the Ultimate Soldier. She became obsessed with the military from a young age. She disappeared while on vacation in Europe, reappeared in Japan 3 years later. Apparently, every member of Fenrir gets a tattoo somewhere on their body to represent their membership in the group. Apparently, the killing game began with 16 participants, all students. It is assumed that Makuru Ikusaba was the 16th student. Monokuma also revealed that the reason Kyoko wears the gloves is to hide something she didn't want anyone to see. This wood block decoration was found in Kyoko's room. It looks like it's actually the key to one of the lockers in the dojo. Instead of titanium arrows were found in the dojo locker, there appeared to be 10 in total. Along with the arrows, there were also a wadded up ball of duct tape in the locker. The duct tape had traces of blood on it. It's assumed that it is related to the case, but nobody can imagine how. Kyoko used Monokuma's secret tool, which grants access to any room in the school, to sneak into the second floor of the dorms. This area seems to have no monitors or security cameras. Okay. Have another one. Steadies your aim, little effective turning outside. Truly steadies your aim, effectively turning out. Stop debating Hangman's Gambit. Costs 3 points. Can't even help that. I mean, sure. It's the only two that I got, so. Yeah. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Let's see.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
Let's get started.
Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Oh, man.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No! That's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right?
Why?
Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait Kyoko has proved the body doesn't belong to her.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
There's no way the corpse was Kyoko. But if I can't prove why, we're gonna be stuck here, and the case won't move forward. So I don't have any choice but to... Okay. To do our next, analysis fake image.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
That
Kyoko,
Impossible.
okay, then prove
The dead body
they got burnt up and
Then she was wearing gloves?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely
this entire discussion is idiotic.
Another body using Kyoko's, and I know I can prove
That Kyoko,
Impossible.
okay, then prove
The dead body
they got burnt up in the
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
well.
Oh, wait, hold up. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Okay, never mind. What's wrong? Did I say something?
Shoot!
I need to do about it one more time. There must be a contradiction there somewhere.
Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No?
Shoot!
I guess I have to... Do I have to like develop something?
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Maybe the fake test.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Cause that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic. That Kyoko... Okay, then prove...
The dead body was...
They got burnt up!
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No, that's wrong. No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
Oh, that was a waste of like 10 minutes.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Sprinkles to the bottom, touch it.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out.
I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file.
Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
The one thing that can tell us was on the victim's own body.
If Kyoko really... Then who died?
There's gotta be some... I don't think so.
The face was scorched beyond... And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file.
Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
If Kyoko really... Then who died?
There's gotta be some... I don't think so.
The face was scorched beyond and there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file.
Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real?
If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Oh yeah, because I think it's me.
A cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog?
Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Okay.
Seriously? They really did something that humiliating?
Wasn't expecting that.
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
compare the tattoo to the other information we need to have the victim begins to become yep.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is... Oh, okay. Wolf,
Now I understand. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man! After all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
I mean, all signs point to Kyoko, because we have no idea where she's
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from... Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Then who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us, just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
He just hates not knowing stuff.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Seems like Kyoko.
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
And they don't think it's me.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
Based on what we know, there are only 2 suspects.
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The 4 of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the 4 of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
That'd be sad if it was.
Are me
It
and
is.
Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Blame, I mean, maybe.
exactly so.
Unless it's another soccer type thing. The only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it, I can't let this stand. Someone have to clear Lemonade.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him
It
out.
might be another Sayaka type thing though. Like, she's gonna try to make it seem like it was me. Then she ends up dead.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then
haven't seen
and
that
when we
message
found the
in a while.
body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? When she went to go get the pickaxe.
That was just around 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock. Ooh, wait. Yeah, because we were at the door at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock. So it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. I don't have an alibi for 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay, then it looks like the game has begun. If I can't prove an alibi for that period, then I have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear when the body ended up in the garden. It was after 7:30 because that's when the sprinklers go off. Because the entire body wasn't lit.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
There's something that happens in the garden at the same time every morning. Thinking back, posts will almost totally dry. In which case, I should be able to figure out when the body must have appeared in the garden.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Come on, girl, don't scare me like that. Makes me think something weird is going on.
Shoot!
Think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. 10 o'clock.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit. So Makoto, if you have
Any objections, now would be the time.
But I guess I should be able to figure out when the body must appear in the garden. Okay.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night
No, that's wrong.
You're right, Bruiser.
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How?
Screw you, Toko.
Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Hopefully. That'd be great.
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got away. The body. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence and that should do it. If we look at the body itself, that should make it clear. Okay.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything!
This should prove it.
Yeah, for the whole book.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Me too.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Oh no. I don't want it to be Kyoko, but at the same time, I mean, it's not me, so. Kyoko's the only one without an alibi. Which would mean that Makoto's killer is. No, I refuse to believe it. You said the same thing about Sayaka, and she tried to blame it on you whenever she tried to kill. What's his face? Got his name. Kyoko's murdered someone that.
I'd just like to say one
Leon.
thing.
His name was Leon. I remember.
If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone.
Wait, you got any predictions? Of who it could be? Because I have no clue.
This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Oh wow! Oh man, you. Whew. She came back and just threw it at me hard. Okay.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Don't lose your nerve now, man.
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
The tarp that we found inside the tool shed.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Yeah. It could have been moved. There's certain something in the scene. Why are you trying to figure out what it was?
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have to take out Kyoko because, you know.
In other words, to create an excuse
kill us.
exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Unless we actually did do it. Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. Dude. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, tarp must have been touched. Tarp must have touched the body, right? But it would have had blood on it.
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
Can't worry about Kyoko's motivation. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to review what Kyoko said. We're gonna have to take out Kyoko because
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
remember the blood on the body hadn't dried yet. Yako even warned us not to touch it to avoid getting any blood on us.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side.
Well, I guess I choked. Oh yes, I see. So what you're saying is I have absolutely no idea.
Shoot!
Okay. I thought I knew what.
By covering the body with the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
What?
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side
is because the sprinkler, but the underside of it was totally spotless.
It's because that side was protected from, since it was facing down toward the bottom. Of course it didn't get dirty.
Hey,
No, that's wrong. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
Dude.
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office.
She's up.
That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
She's trying to get us, man.
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Oh, she's talking about the chicken. They got the blood right there in the garden, right? Which must mean...
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
She's trying to take us out, man, dude. Like,
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after
dude,
the murder,
I called it from
there were
long
only
ago.
4.
We shouldn't have. We knew she was gonna try to come get us one day.
So, you're saying
Can't trust
someone
anyone.
killed a chicken?
Nobody.
And then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around.
Our greatest ally is now our biggest foe. Every time.
Anyway, there's no denying
when
that
you
a
think they're
chicken
the
went
best
missing,
people you can
which
count on,
provides a
they just
basis for
turn
my
on.
theory.
Sad.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so.
Yeah, I was wearing it backwards.
Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
She's ready.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping
She's
up.
ready. She's gonna.
What
just,
settles what?
She wants to pull her bullet in her brain.
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body.
But as soon as it was 7:30, that's whenever I met up with Hina. Around the same time the sprinklers went on. And the entire time after that, I was with them the entire time. So during that time, I had no chance to get out and escape to go do the whole thing.
They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Oh yeah.
Then
did
he had
leave.
plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
Well,
That's not.
that's it. We killed her. We did it.
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
We done did it. The guards is on the 5th floor. We're on the 1st floor. So how would we go from the 5th floor, do everything that we need to do, then go straight into there?
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
It'd probably take us about a good, because we have to walk all the way up there and all the way down, so it would take maybe a good 15 to 20 minutes. I don't think it would take, I don't think it took 15 to 20 minutes to go from the dining hall to the gym. And the suspicions fall back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised body, dead body, has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
You know, I liked Hiro in the beginning, but as we get more down the line, I just don't like him.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good at all.
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right?
The knife that we should have kept in our room. That was given us
According
by
to the
Toko.
Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Me? She's been planning this ever since the knife was found.
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You didn't give it to us, you forced it to me.
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
I didn't hide nothing.
It's not that I hid it. It's just.
It is on backwards because it doesn't have the thing. It's just like straight covered. I couldn't be sure what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed.
Because she got in our room one time before, so it wouldn't be hard for her to get in our room again, especially with the key.
The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Considering everything up until now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone, not the killer.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it!
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
We already established the coat was put in the body after the tarp was removed. Which means when the knife was thrust through the coat into the body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it!
I did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Is that
So there's no question.
so? Was that one?
You took that knife of yours
or
and
whenever she
killed her
said
with it.
that I had the knife?
What a horrible man you are,
Well,
Makoto.
which one should I use? After the tarp was removed. Which means the knife is thrust through the coat into the body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead
The
body.
titanium things. Okay.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
There we
I was
go.
If he did have that seals it.
Just because I had that automatically...
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Yep, that's
No, that's wrong.
Yep. Steel tip arrows from the locker. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro.
Because remember we went into the lockers and those arrows? So she was dead before the knife was in her. They just used the knife in order to disguise the fact that it was used with an arrow.
That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
And who had the arrows? Kyoko.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember?
Tipped arrows.
The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot. No, there's no way that's possible. The exact condition was written down for everyone to see. Do the explosion of the victim, okay. Struck in the head, pipe, covered in wound. These were released 7 days ago. Is it this one? 'Cause that's the only thing. Apparently the killing game begins 16 Nope. Because they don't know exactly. So I'm gonna say that. Exact condition, but written down for everyone to see. I mean, written down.
I got it!
Yeah.
The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife.
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her.
Well, never mind. I have no idea what's going on.
Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing.
Choco flying through the ears. Great.
The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but
So she's.
what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic-level spontaneous combustion!
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
Why do I always gotta tell people stuff? The only explanation I can think of for the explosion. Yeah, you knew that. I'm just sure.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
Dude, she's been trying to throw you under the bus the entire time. Now you're trying to save her again. Jesus.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. We need to concentrate. So now we can do it. Okay. Number 5.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
The knife was a cover-up, and all those other wounds on her body weren't fresh. Only leaves. The thing in the
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
I took too long.
I guess.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't. Then there's only.
Oh, yeah.
That's gotta be it! There was. And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's
Fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
What do you think there's some mistake?
Shoot!
I don't think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere.
Then, shall we continue the debate?
So
The
it's not
victim's
what
fatal
he
injury
said.
has yet to.
The explosion didn't kill her for sure,
Okay.
I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only...
Oh, yeah.
Say that, it's what killed her.
That's gotta be it. There was evidence.
Evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Okay. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, I have that.
Shoot!
You hit the right one, but you need different. Okay.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
Correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure,
Well, yeah. She was already told.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was
Evidence that showed she was
hit on the back of her head.
Shoot!
Oh, it's
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
the explosion didn't kill her for sure, I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
that?
And more than that, the victim
Yeah.
had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
The knife was covered in all the other fresh, which only.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to
To be determined, correct?
Okay.
No, that's wrong.
That's the only thing we had left.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
Those are old.
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way! Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
I did not. I have no idea. The real murder. Okay. Is it? But, like, how would they color the blood? Sure, let's see.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her.
But wouldn't the arrows just go straight through her skull, though?
And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master! You have no right!
I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
Don't blame Hina for doubting it, because there's one more thing about that weapon. Yeah, maybe one more secret. And better not mess up.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Well,
Slow down.
because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master!
Shut up.
You have no right!
If it was a titanium arrow, it wouldn't be nearly as thick enough. It is thin.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
Yeah, probably. If it was just that titanium arrow, it wouldn't be nearly thick enough. Which is why they use... okay.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right?
That makes sense.
I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
No, that's wrong.
You got it, Jarrell. You got it.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Another arrow.
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
That's a lie.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we talked to her in the dojo, because she was like, oh, the stupid... She liked the scenery of the Japanese thing.
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter?
He doesn't want to.
Surely you don't intend to
gotta-
protect a murderer.
God.
You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to.
All of us did.
The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence. Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo. Must be connected to the dojo locker.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is... right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb.
Could it be Byakuya though? Because he has been known to like tamper with dead bodies and stuff. Or just remember did the same thing with Chihiro.
That key is just the final piece of the puzzle.
He messed that dude up.
Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime.
He was the only one with the key.
This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just... there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She's trying to protect me. Now she's trying to just straight up kill me now. She was protecting me? Then does that mean she knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue. But could that be when, which would mean that Kyoko, she killed someone for me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait,
Maybe?
I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? Lately, Byakuya's been slipping a lot. Byakuya should know better than anyone? What does that mean? When the body was found, that's it? Okay.
Those words you just spoke.
no.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Wait, Kyoko gave her room key to Byakuya, right? Which would mean...
Those words you just spoke.
What exactly what I said? I'm not the killer.
the birth key, yeah.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya,
What are you
Master would never hide.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Is that what you're...
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the and then left the locker key in my own room. But
Could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you...
exactly what I said.
Dude,
I'm not the killer.
you're saving us.
You should understand.
Byakuya,
What are you... Master would never
was a
hide something
theory,
from me!
There's proof that
that you aren't... Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But Could I really have done that?
If it was up to me, I would have already been dead.
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly.
I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than—
Byakuya!
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, that's wrong.
3 for 3, Drill. 3 for 3.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Yeah.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
So is it Byakuya? Can we kill him off now?
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us. An obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself in such a desperate lie? Does she really feel that threatening? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. The mastermind's trap. The mastermind's trying to trap Kyoko? But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... The mastermind's trap. Oh, are we talking to ourselves again? Oh, great. The victim was Makuru, and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. You don't think Kyoko's bad? But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if the risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Oh man. Am I wrong? What do I do? What do you think, Jarrell? Should I throw her? Or should I just say nothing? Because she has the key to unlock everywhere, right? So... I don't know. I've decided right here now whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. Oh, I can run away. Well, I ain't trying to die either. What you thinking, Drew? What you thinking, Drew? Because obviously you're Sherlock this episode, because I have not done a lot. What you think? Because the fact of the matter is, if we just let her get away with it, then if she really is the killer, that means we're all gonna die. But if I just lie that I know about it, or actually if I expose it, feel as if pursuing might get us to the end of the game. Alright.
There was a lie hidden within Kyoko's statement just now.
A lie?
Yucca is relieved now.
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
You said it. The burden of proof is on you. So let's hear it. Where's this lie, then?
Might open more stuff, dude. I don't know. Oh, let's hear it. What is it? Kyoko's definitely lying, and it must be because... It's too late now. We're already here. There's somebody. I can't really go back now because I already saved. I can't save no more. Yeah. She has the key to the second dormitory room.
I didn't have the key to my room because I'd given it to Byakuya.
True.
There's no doubt about that, right?
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
No, that's wrong.
What about this? Oh no. She's one of the best characters.
No. Kyoko could have gotten into her room.
We're killing off everybody. We killed off Sakura.
You said so yourself, didn't you, Kyoko?
We didn't kill her off. She killed herself. But, you know, even still. Actually, to be precise, not quite. I use Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What?
Monokuma's secret tool?
Kyoko stole it from the headmaster's room. It lets you get into any room in the school. Which means she could have used it to get into her own room.
See, this is what I meant. If there was like alternate endings or something. Because if that's the case, shit, I don't know.
Then I guess that's it.
You're giving up just like that? You admit to killing...
No, I'm simply recognizing that I lost.
What are you talking about?
Like I said, this was a trap, and I wasn't able to escape it. So I lost. That's all this means.
Is she leaving?
Huh?
Because that's her normal leaving clues.
Then, are you saying you really didn't...
I don't think we're just supposed to expose the lie.
Kyoko, you really... aren't the killer?
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, but your time is up! All done, all finished. The class trial is all over.
You don't really have a... There wasn't time limits before, was there?
But that's ridiculous! Since when is there any...
It's because you were late, so the trial started late and time ran out.
What was that?
So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
He's really trying to push this.
But I guess we already know who the blackened is, don't we?
Oh, we really... Oh. Oh. Okay. We didn't even get a vote in that. Good job. You got it right. Really right. Got it right. Does that mean Kyoko really is the killer? But something strange is going on here. There's something wrong with the whole class trial. Kyoko.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment.
Is everyone ready? Okay then.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Did we mess up? Did I mess up? Can we stop it? Oh, we can't stop it. Okay. We got it right. We got it wrong. Would it have been the same outcome? Or... She has a tool, doesn't she? We're screwed. That's how the class trial of Mukuru Ikusaba came to an end. I still had to wonder whether Kyoko was actually innocent or, regardless, the truth was lost forever. Even for me. I just stopped thinking about it. That was the end of Mukuru's class trial. And in the end, it would prove to be our last class trial. Once that case was over, there was never a single murder at Hope Peak ever again. Oh, dude. Yeah. Because remember that thing where it was like, we want to be here forever? Whenever I was speaking to myself. We obtained peace in exchange for the lives of all the others. Oh. Whoa, that's weird. Peace, but only inside the school. Peace, but only for us. That was the only hope we had. Hope. Hope. Hope? This is hope?
No! This isn't right!
We should have did the other... yeah. Oh, we passed out or something.
Makoto, why are you staring off into space? Don't you have a rebuttal for Kyoko's claim?
Okay, so they gave us another option. Her claim. Well, that's right, I have to. Do I expose Kyoko light or not? No. Okay, spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you never move forward. We know the danger, but if it risks me solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? She's not wrong. I have to think about this very carefully. What do I do? I've decided no, let it go. I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be a secret here. Something that has to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact?
Yeah, because I seen the other option. The other option was weird.
I see. So you still refuse to accept it.
My thing is, what happened to Toko?
I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
I mean, could have been. No, but that would make sense.
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
Oh, talking about us, okay.
What?
It had to be Makoto,
Why is
right?
everyone blaming me? I didn't have the key. I never went. Well, I went to the dojo, but I never.
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you?
Oh.
Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Oh, doing this again.
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Wait, what? We got an A. Woo. So I thought I was confused before we started this. I'm like 10 times
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Oh, they already. Oh, it's gonna be me. Okay. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Come on. Go. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, we got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense.
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials. And I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, what? Why do I... Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko?
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
So does that mean the right thing was run away? Well, at least we got to see what Makoto's is. The same thing? Okay. Wait a minute. We just got saved by Chihiro.
What?
Oh. What's going on? Hey, was that? Yeah, it had to be.
This is...
Alter ego? Alter ego? Okay, so basically, probably he hid himself inside somewhere in the database of the school. Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell. I don't believe this.
It would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words,
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you already won? You barely left the thing, it was a pinch, an itch. The stupid virus is gone now, got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again.
Yaha!
To waste away in a garbage strewn pit. In a way, that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. It's still not I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. So who are we gonna control? Is he gone? Hey Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
calm down.
It's okay, we're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words,
Now that it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
so...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon, indeed. The massive high school towers, all of the other buildings in this bustling suburban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world, Hope's Peak Academy. Are we in the beginning of the game again? It brings its top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. I say if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is if you scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school, filled with the ultimate students, was me. What the fuck is going on? What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It'd be weird for me to zonk. There's the word zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Okay. Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then, I was awake. Or was it just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils is too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. I was going to be stuck in there till I wasted away. Oh, was I going to be stuck in there until I waste away and die? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what happened. Had happened. Alter Ego saved me. He used up the last bit of his strength to do it. So, I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of there. Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? Cool. Is this a desk? It's probably one that fell down here with me. Is that a rocket and a tank? Better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. Oh, this place is tall. The door. We don't got a key. It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm going to get out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I can never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. It was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. All I did was sleep and sleep. And it was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. It was trash. What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? Oh, probably supplies. Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand up towards whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
Again, a giant piece of trash, rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
Yep, Kyoko.
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. I try to kill Kyoko. Here she is helping me out. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. That really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward, is about all I'm good at. Well, it's not such a bad thing to be good at. What's in the trash? Is there anything more in the trash? There's only a amount of trash here. Okay. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt? Or, no, to atone? Atone?
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew?
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you.
I
abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. Just a little bit. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to survive no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive,
in other words,
is so that I can do whatever I came to this school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason. So you have some reason of coming to Hope's Peak.
Indeed.
That's right, at least. I did. Once? Till recently, I've forgotten what it was. You forgot. But that's... I have no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible.
Huh?
Amnesia? Then is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? No. Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? Yeah, we passed out. The first thing. You talk about when we fainted, right? I fainted when I woke up. I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I've noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at this point my memory was gone. At that point. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I had come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would have made you forget all that?
Hey,
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because my purpose and my ability, somehow, they would interfere with the mastermind's plan. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However,
And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. And that's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that, we would all worked as one. The mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were at least likely to be the mastermind. That's just intuition, but I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I've never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. Okay, just keep on going, just keep it going. You said you had another reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So, how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose, my ability, and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability. What everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Well, you know, I thought that from the start. The ultimate detective?
correct.
And the reason I came to Host Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. It said find someone. Who?
So,
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why do you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. Okay. What?
in other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak Academy's headmaster. And that explains when Alter Ego told us he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
no matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on?
I
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course. since my whole purpose is coming here is to find him. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the head mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I said that I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
so
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone didn't know where anything had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms. Second floor, using the key I found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Is this some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Makuro's profile in that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for the faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. But I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would have likely held more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
But when I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So, what was it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in the school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
so
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important and really ominous. Can we go? No, what? We're gonna keep on talking.
however,
Of course, okay. Which is why I have no idea what's going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Makuru Ikusaba, doesn't it?
however,
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did kill her?
anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Makuru Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they went to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules. And with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Makuru Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Makuru may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have been the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean during the night?
I
can hear them, the footsteps of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. The ability That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this,
Anyway,
which exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw the white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away as I followed it. I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I went into your room and I saw that what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to whoever the masked assailant was. They ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It was all to be the work of the mastermind, in an attempt to use a class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuru is also the mastermind, right? Oh, sorry.
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want, if they feel like it. Wait, but does that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted us to use the class trial to try to kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Makuru. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is one who's been cornered. Huh.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. Oh, the identity of the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Makuru was the ultimate despair. And that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event you're talking about.
That's right.
What happened a year ago? The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. A tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that. They're the ultimate despair?
It would seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. 100-mile dash, pain of junk food junkie. You received Dream Island rocket present. I'm just happy we didn't get stuck in that other thing where we would just... Well, the game ended. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the mastermind's true identity. Dude, I mean, that means that Hero's prediction was true. We would have the same baby mom. Our enemy has finally been revealed. Can we go now? Go right now.
Anyway,
Right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Do I talk to her again? Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the Mastermind's headmaster's room?
indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
That's right. Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Let's go. Hey Kyoko. Can we use that key of yours to open this door? We can use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid into the keyhole. And then... yes, it opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We're finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6. The ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, the ultimate execution, I couldn't read the last one. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up to the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent of reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea where we were so far down.
Hey.
Okay. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help me keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I came from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then is your family famous? Yeah, famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Hold on. Hold up. Okay. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
Right.
because we take pride in it. Pride.
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. This is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things. And to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family's creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because like I said, it's our source of pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak Academy, I had to reveal myself to the school. I didn't knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you give up that pride is the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Academy. Hope's Peak. It was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? Alright, sorry about that. It was because of how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. What? But you'd be reuniting with after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? Last time I saw him, I was still very young. I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was aligned to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, he had a promising future,
However,
but he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself from the family. Off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. Take pride in my family's name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, and what she have been feeling. All I can tell is that, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative, more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However,
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
so...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However,
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me, even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of the shadow. Of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him. I have to tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot me. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey,
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart and soul or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Jesus, that took forever. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of the door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. Reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so looks like we're back.
Whew.
But I can't believe how long the ladder was. I'm exhausted. It came full circle. We saw that hatch like the first thing. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. We're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Can I close the thing? This is how I get out of the garbage pit. Okay. I would never imagine that's where this led. True. So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might.
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then
let's just get a concrete answer. Huh.
in other words,
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
however,
If we tried to hide, it's only a matter of time until we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at a nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't.
because
The mastermind isn't the one that's ensnared. Is the one. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
so
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Macro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help us with our investigation. Sorry, my dog is having a bad dream. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Let's see what's going to happen.
Well now.
Hey. Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly what how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You're supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they only will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again. This time, I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko,
Right.
do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
I lose?
Hey!
You explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted to execute. Excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as a Blacken and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right.
And in response to that unexpected development, son of a bitch.
Indeed.
You reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of being that. That could come to our aid even after you killed it.
am I wrong?
So, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Makuru. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackening is exposed, they only will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose. You talk a big game. You're saying that the Blackening is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence.
that doesn't matter.
I don't have it right now. But with a little more time I'll guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only one absolute truth.
Pung, pung!
And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would try to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh.
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think of if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what he said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say that we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makuro's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial. One last showdown, in other words. Would be our chance to expose the true identity of Makuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Very?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored. So I decided to change things up a little. So, time for bear jokes. Now what you suggested might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? And then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Prepared. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain
Let's have
myself!
one finally grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer's barely fitting in.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right. Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely
then that'll be
contain
enough
myself!
to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way out to the truth of Makuro's death and solve the mystery of this school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. Then will you learn the whole truth? What kind of despair will you show me? When we're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held?
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And is a true statement. You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And have a trial for Makuru is one exception to that. Is no exception to that. Huh. Makuru's trial is no exception. Then it's part of the regulation? Which would have mean that whoever killed Makuru, it's a very polarizing approach. I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to make a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why do you go quiet all of a sudden?
Now
I'm done talking. I got
really
nothing
angry.
left to say to you. So get lost, would you? Why so mad?
Whew.
He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment. Overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto. Let's go. Okay. Monaku's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out the gym. So that means we gotta rub it in Hina's face, Hiro's face, Byakuya's face. Y'all were all wrong. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up getting executed. Not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
However,
Don't thank me just yet. The road battle is just ahead of us. Yeah, true.
whew,
But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from Final Showdown, do they?
so
They had no choice but to accept. Huh.
because
It's all because of that moment, of that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard, like I said. So when was it that the mastermind let their guard down?
so
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said that they had hijacked the airways to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
listen.
What do you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airways seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off,
However,
and yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must be some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
so
They had to show the world something no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
it would seem
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and to show that off to the world. But why?
correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey,
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair. The mastermind wants the world to see that. To try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? That's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto,
I know how angry it must make you, and yet that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
in other words,
Because the goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored the rules, this would have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter wouldn't have been a game.
at the very least,
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of the regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have the right answer. made me out to be the killer. And even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire world, the mastermind had to accept our suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove that the world that despair is better than hope, they would have to feed us in perfect form.
In other words,
They would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thought and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet.
Whew.
But looks like I got it right. This time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go to talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I shown my uneasiness, that would have just made that much more uneasy. Why you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't just relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
correct.
Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There is no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know our real enemy is. Who? All we have to do now is to work together and with everyone to destroy the mastermind. Work together with everyone.
however,
Is that really possible? Huh.
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to figure out the others.
shall we go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Sure. Well, it is nighttime, so Yakuya. We should, yeah. We knocked on Byakuya's door and nobody's there.
Hey.
I don't think he's here. Come on, we need to keep looking. Okay. Ooh, man. Alright. Yeah, you're right. Okay, with that, I'm gonna end it there. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for Jarrell for, carrying the entire team this time. Cause I didn't get anything right, to be honest. I don't know what next time. If you're down to do it again tomorrow, we can do it tomorrow. Finish this up. If you're down. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Jiro, for being here. Cool. We'll continue this tomorrow. Yeah, have a good night or day or whatever. Dude, I'm down. I want to finish this as quick as possible. Not because, I just want to play the game more. Alright, later.